Hello, my name is Sean and this is Cruise Thru Life, and today we've got some cruise news stories from around the industry. We have a new look for some ships being transferred to the Carnival brand after a cruise line shutdown, changes to the muster drill on board Carnival, a new cruise ship embarking on sea trials, trade wars affecting Alaska cruises, and a new ship being delivered to a cruise line. Very, very exciting news happening in the cruise world. In our first news story, P&O Cruises Australia was recently closed down by its parent company Carnival, but the Pacific Encounter and the Pacific Adventure, which sailed under that line, have been transferred to Carnival's fleet and are currently in a wet dock. These ships are being carnivalized before they start sailing under the new brand, and Carnival released an image of the plan for the now Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure, which are currently on the screen. Carnival ships usually have a blue hull and is paired with a red and white accents, but the Encounter and Adventure are set to follow after the Carnival Splendor, which was unique in appearance after its dry dock in August of 2024. The Carnival Encounter seems to feature a white hull with a red stripe, and the Adventure seems to have a white hull with a blue accent. Like the Carnival Splendor, both former P&O ships will feature an upgraded Carnival logo on their midship hulls with the stylized swoop and stars, meant to represent the Southern Cross. The Southern Cross is a prominent symbol in Australia and even appears on the country's flag, and is Carnival's way of paying homage to the land down under. I love that Carnival themes their ships for where they will be sailing from. I think it's a nice touch that shows respect for the ports and countries they sail from. The Carnival Adventure will resume service from Sydney, Australia on March 29th, 2025, while the Encounter will return to Brisbane also on March 29th, 2025. Our next story also comes from Carnival. Now, many cruise lines have switched to an e-muster drill instead of the traditional muster drill during the 2020 industry shutdown. In a surprising move from Carnival, guests on board the March 16th sailing of the Carnival Liberty and the March 17th sailing of the Carnival Conquest and the Carnival Valor have been notified that their safety drills will in fact be the traditional in-person style. This is despite the fact that Carnival has stated the e-muster is here to stay and they will not be returning to the full in-person safety briefing, but this appears to be not entirely true. Carnival has stated that this is part of their ongoing commitment to safety and ensuring full and complete training for all crew members. The email notification from Carnival reads, shortly before departure, a full safety drill will take place on your upcoming sailing. This is a mandatory procedure and all guests will be required to participate in this brief but essential exercise. Shipwide announcements will provide guidance on the process, which will include collective gathering at your assigned muster station to familiarize yourself with the necessary steps to take in the unlikely event of an emergency. Quite frankly, I would not be happy if I were on any of these sailings. Not that the muster drill is a waste of time, but it's kind of a waste of time while you're on board, in my opinion. The safety drills and information are included in the videos during the e-muster, and it is no different from doing it in person, except that I have to spend 20 to 30 minutes of my vacation on board sitting through something I could have watched online, and just checking in at my muster station to ensure that I know where it is. I understand that a muster drill is mandatory, I just think the e-muster is a much better way of doing it in 2025. If you're enjoying the cruise news so far, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. It does help small channels like myself a lot. And tell me your thoughts on any of these stories in the comments down below. I do read all of the comments, so let's get back to the cruise news. Our third cruise news story comes from the land of the rising sun, or at least a cruise line based there. The Asuka 3, a new ship for the Japanese cruise line Asuka Cruise, has embarked on sea trials. After traveling the Ems River earlier this month, the Asuka 3 sailed from Eemshaven, Netherlands for the tests on March 9th. The 51,950-ton vessel is undergoing extensive trials to evaluate its seaworthiness and maneuverability and technical and safety systems. Following the trial, the ship is expected to be delivered in early April. This is pretty cool, as the Asuka 3 is the first ship built for the Asuka line in over 30 years. During its maiden sailing, the Asuka 3 will visit over 30 destinations around the country, including Hakodate, Otaru, Takamatsu, Shingu, Muroran, and Moji. Quite a few of the destinations are bucket list destinations for me personally. Along with being an avid cruiser, I'm also a big anime fan and have always wanted to visit Japan, and it would be cool to combine two of my loves and cruise around Japan. I might have to make that happen. Our next story may be good or bad for Alaska cruises. Now, it is no secret that the United States and Canada are in a bit of a trade war with tariffs right now. This has caused Alaskan Senator Dan Sullivan to say that he would move to suspend the law requiring cruise ships to stop in Canada when traveling from the lower 48 to Alaska. The Passenger Vessel Services Act that was enacted in the 1880s makes it illegal for any foreign-flagged vessel to transport people from one U.S. port directly to another U.S. port, and most cruise ships are flagged outside of the United States. To my knowledge, the only exception to this are ships that do Hawaii sailings, as there isn't really anywhere close for them to go to. The U.S. has already created an exemption for this law once, back in 2021 amid the outbreak restrictions. At the time, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski introduced a bill to make the change permanent, arguing that the requirement unintentionally put many Alaskan businesses at the mercy of the Canadian government. The bill did not pass, but they are currently hoping to get either a bill passed for an exemption or for the president to issue an exemption by executive order. I think that back in the day, the Passenger Vessel Services Act was something that was probably needed since it was meant to protect U.S. cruise companies. But today, with most ships being flagged in foreign countries anyway, I think it makes sense to remove this requirement, although it does remove a port of call from Alaska cruises. I think most people sailing to Alaska probably wouldn't miss the Canada stop all that much, not to mention the fact that it would save money in taxes and port fees. In our final cruise news story of the day, Fincantieri has announced the successful delivery of the Norwegian Aqua. This is the first in the new Prima Plus class built for Norwegian. The ceremony was held at Fincantieri's Magera shipyard and was attended by executives of both companies. Following this delivery, preparations for the launch of the Aqua sister ship, the Norwegian Luna, which is scheduled for today, March 14th, 2025, began. The Aqua is set to take its inaugural cruise on April 26, 2025 for a 7-night Caribbean sailing out of Port Canaveral, while the Luna is set to debut in spring of 2026. This is big news for Norwegian. A new ship is going to be coming into service with another one launching today. I love to sail with Norwegian. It's my preferred cruise line, so I'm happy to see progress with new ships. I just wish I could be on the Aqua. That is looking like it's going to be an awesome ship. I hope you enjoyed today's cruise news, and I hope to see you on board sometime soon.